Are you going to be meeting Mark Zuckerberg?
I hope so, but it will be up to the companies themselves to decide, obviously, who they want to put up to talk to me. But what I'll be talking to them about is what the UK government thinks is necessary to keep its citizens safe. Now, I want to make sure that what we put forward is effective in that regard, and I'll be talking to these companies about how we do that. But I'm not asking their permission to do it. I'll be talking to them about exactly how we make it effective.
But you don't know at this stage who you're going to meet?
Well, I believe that we will be meeting very senior people from all of the companies that we're going to talk to, and at the moment I expect to be speaking to Mark Zuckerberg as well. But in the end, it's up to those companies to decide how much they want to engage with this process. But the British government will come to its own conclusions about exactly what's necessary to keep our citizens safe. And there's no doubt that we can't any longer, I think, rely on the internet companies to do this for themselves. We need to take action as a government, and we intend to do that, but I want to make sure we get the design right.
Well, let's look a bit at what that might mean. Damien Collins, your colleague who chairs the Culture Select Committee, has said that basically there needs to be a new independent regulator, which does for social media platforms what other regulators do for newspapers or indeed broadcasters. Do you agree?
Well, you will understand, Andrew, if I don't set out for you exactly what's in the white paper now.
Why not?
Because I want to make sure that the design is right. And let me tell you why. I think it's very important in the interests of Molly Russell's family, whose death you mentioned earlier, and in the interests of all those many parents, of which I'm one, by the way, who worries about what their teenagers may be doing online, that we get the design of this system right. In order to do that, I have to make sure I've worked through the questions we need to ask ourselves, the mechanisms we need to put in place, and the consequences that will follow if online companies don't meet their responsibilities. When I've worked all that through, I'll set them out in a white paper, and then we'll want to hear what people have to say, and I'm very happy to talk about it more at that stage.
But if you can't talk about a regulator, presumably you can tell me whether or not you believe that criminal sanctions are appropriate.
Well, look, what I can tell you is this. I think what's important is that we have a system in place that sets out clearly what the responsibilities of online companies are, sets out how we expect them to meet those responsibilities, and sets out what will happen if they fail to do so. And the white paper will do that.
Criminal sanctions?
Well, we will consider all possible options for penalties. And it's important, I think, that those companies that we will be talking to and those companies from whom we'll expect a positive response to this understand that there are meaningful sanctions available to us if they don't do what they should. That's what I think we owe the families of those teenagers.
A lot of your predecessors have come on programmes like this and said much the same thing, and nothing has changed. How will you be judged as a success or failure in this?
Well, I think we'll be judged by what we produce and how it works, and that's one of the reasons I'm taking my time over it. I make no apologies for that. I think what people want to see is a system that will work. So that means making sure that we have thought through the design, making sure we have thought through the penalties, making sure we have thought through what agency should be responsible for holding these online companies to account. Because when we've developed this proposal and when we've seen it operate, that's really how we'll be judged, whether it in fact succeeds in making the internet a safer place, because that's what people expect of us.